So Rishikesh, India, same question, same day, different master. Are you guys ready for that? Check it out. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Shai. In this video, I want to talk about what happened after the part 1 of the conversation with Muji. So for those of you who doesn't know what I'm talking about, I'll put the link in the description below of the first part of the conversation with Muji. Actually didn't really answer my question. He just questioned my question. He questioned who wants the answer. And it took me some time to realize the depth of his answer. But in the bottom line, and especially in the same day, he didn't really answer my question. What do we pay attention to? What is worth our attention? What is worth living for? After the conversation ended, I felt so frustrated that I didn't say different things, that I didn't react in different way, and I didn't continue with his path. I felt like he anticipated something more from me. He wanted more desire to actually explore together, but I couldn't. I just wasn't in that state, in that moment. I felt so humble. And so I left the conversation. I left quite depleted. I felt like I didn't get the answer and I was really frustrated. So what happened in the same day in Rishikesh? For those of you who doesn't know, Rishikesh is like really core in terms of yoga and meditation centers in India. And so many masters from all over the world come to Rishikesh to actually give satsangs. I just met other friend of mine. Towards the evening, he told me, hey listen, I'm in a retreat of some other spiritual master. Came all the way from Canada. His name is John the Ruiter. There are not as many people as in Muji, and usually they give new people to ask a question. And it was like 5 minutes before John started his satsang. I actually got in to his satsang and I raised my hand. So the satsang started, and immediately when I raised my hand, I got picked up and I went to the chair to ask the question. Mind you, I was so emotionally involved already. The day was already so intense. In the morning, I went to the satsang with Muji and I asked the question in front of thousands of people, and I got frustrated from the answer, and I was just walking. I felt like I'm depleted. I felt like I'm empty. My ego was hurt so much because he didn't really answer in the way that I wanted. I started to rebalance myself and regain control over what is important for me really. And I was ready to be more and more open and vulnerable. Some notes about John the Ruiter. He's been a spiritual master for over 20 years. He's been teaching. He has many students all over the world. The way he teaches is mostly by dialogues, and his dialogues are a bit different than what we used to from other satsangs. He actually dives deep with you. He lets you express everything that you want, and he has infinite amount of patience. He can just wait there, just stare at you and be there with you, 100% present, and let you express yourself. And then he follows where you are and what's right for you to hear. One thing about the terminology that he uses, the self that he refers to is the person, the identity, is the thoughts, the emotions, the friends, the likings, the dislikes, and all of that. As opposed to the being, which is the core. That's a representation of your higher self. So probably I'm gonna make part 3. It's I'm gonna do a conclusion of the 2 different answers of Muji and John, and I'm gonna conclude what I took from it and how I felt afterwards. Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell button as well to get notified, to be exposed to new videos and new content. It's an amazing ride, and I really enjoy your comments and your responses. It's just incredible for us to experience this journey together. And if you like this video, of course, make sure to thumbs up to like it. One thing to notice is that towards the middle, I just like felt like my ego is cracking a little bit, and I just couldn't handle it. I started to cry, and it was such an amazing experience for me. And I'm not sure that you can actually see this, but without any further ado, that's the conversation. Until the next time.
I feel that the past 10 years of my life, I've been walking in the path of observing all the conditions that society and my parents and family and relatives, I kind of soaked everything, and I got attached to them and felt like that is the reality, and these beliefs are actually the truth and my own, when in fact I passively and in some parts actively inherited them. And in the past 10 years of my life, I've been walking through these fears and doubts, and I tried to look at anything that I held on to, everything that I was attached to, and I put a question mark above anything. A lot of the time it was very difficult for me to let go of them, and at certain times I felt there's a void and there's not quite an answer, but I knew what is not right anymore and what was imposed on me in a certain way, and I took responsibility on all of these things, and slowly I dealt with all of my observable conscious fears and doubts in myself and traumas. And so it led me to a place that I decided many things that I want to change in my life. For example, I don't want to cause any harm to any animal, so I became vegan, and I felt that it's more natural to be more exposed to the sun, and many things that brings, I feel, harmony and natural with me, myself, the world, animals, everyone's around me. In the recent year, I actually had a vision to travel the world, soak in what the world has to offer to me, what experiences, cultures, tastes, smells, everything that I can experience in my life. So I sold most of my things, and just recently, a few months ago, I started to travel the world, and I came to India, a place that I really love. And I've been walking around with a sensation that more and more that I put question marks above all these social conditioning and things that I took for granted, my self-esteem and my confidence in what my real powers are growing more and more. So I feel like I'm walking in this world fearless. And the more and more I'm getting in tune with what brings me into higher and higher vibration, frequency, the more that I'm not experiencing any fear, and I feel like I can do and actually manifest anything that I want, and I feel the synchronicity more and more. Actually, I feel like I'm surrendering into the synchronicity, so I feel like I don't need to worry about what I want to do in my life or what I want to achieve, but I just let my synchronicity, what I sense as frequency and energy, or some would call intuition, to lead my way. And so I walk without any fear because I know that everything is synchronized. But lately, out of this feeling that surrender of synchronicity to the harmony of the world, I feel more and more that I'm not really sure what I want my awareness to go to. I used to believe that time was the most valuable asset, the most precious currency that we have, but the more I experienced fearless, the more I realize that it's not the time which is like man-made, but it's more the awareness, what we pay attention to. And for me, I feel that's the most valuable thing, asset that I can give and experience. So my question is, what should I pay attention to? What should I give my awareness to, since I have a free will of that?
Core splitting honesty. It'll free you of how you're using your mind, which is making yourself stronger. It'll free you of how you are newly conditioning your mind, of how you are stylizing your mind.
So am I conditioning? I'm just replacing condition with condition. So
replacing perceptions with self-stylized perceptions.
how can I break this chain?
By not being dependent on your mind to tell you what is true, what is real.
How can I test new conditions that arise to know if it's the mind or not?
By being honest to what is deeper than your mind. By being honest to something in you that isn't to do with your mind.
My mind will try to do anything to convince me that it's not the mind, so I will not explore deeper. How can I?
The underlying premise in what you're saying is that your mind is more than you.
Which is not true. I feel like I don't want to participate in the games of my mind. I want to find the key which is transcending to my mind. I don't want to empower it so much. Is it possible to do?
The honesty in your mind matters. That makes you honest in the use of your intellect. It makes you deeply quiet in how you use your intellect.
I feel lately that out of the feeling of frequency, of energy, what I described as intuition and what feels good but not in the emotion layer, that I want to share that with everyone, and I feel something in the quietness is, I wish to feel more calm, and maybe I really, out of this happiness that I'm feeling, I've been less quiet and more passionate or enthusiastic. Is this preventing me from going deeper, or is it not related? Should I meditate more or just let me be me?
Neither. You being you and the way that you're saying it and how you relate to that isn't as deep as you go. It's based on beliefs in you.
Using my intellect with honesty can bring me stillness. That's the first step.
Being honest in the use of your intellect means that you think quietly and deeply without reference to yourself.
Without relation to who I think I am.
Yes. If it isn't free of that, then the use of your intellect is in service to that, which bars you from going deeper.
So still my intellect has part in my freedom?
No. What you are being in it frees you from your intellect. Not the use of it, but what you're being in it.
It was always referenced to my identity.
As is your intuition.
So, when I thought that I'm using my intuition as part of transcendent me and not part of my identity, that was actually another condition.
A self-induced blinding.
I'm sorry?
A self-induced blinding. You've projected onto your intuition favorable beliefs. That puts your intuition in service of what you think you're getting away from.
Which is actually another mask.
What you are in your intellect, what you are in your intuition is making you something and somebody. The more you use it, the stronger your cage.
So the way out is honesty
Yes,
and stillness.
but not stillness from within yourself, not stillness of mind, not you using your mind to be still, not quieting your mind and equating that with stillness. Quieting your mind isn't stillness. If quieting your mind is referenced to yourself, that's a sophisticated noise-making. Your intuition is in service to what you, awareness, belong to, regardless of what you believe you belong to.
As opposed to intuition that is in service of the mind.
Your intuition is in service to your orientation as awareness.
And the awareness transcended the mind.
Awareness transcends the mind. When awareness is oriented to what is deeper than the mind, the self, the personality, your past, your genetics, your life.
How can I disassociate the awareness from the mind?
You can't. That's another use of your mind. You are not your mind, but you keep using your mind to have deeper access into you. That just takes you deeper into your mind, believing it's you. That's not only going deeper into your mind, you're making your mind unclear.
So stillness that is beyond the mind and beyond quieting the mind. And since the awareness is just a sophisticated tool for the mind to still be in control and prevent me from going deeper and actually get out of the cage, then
Dishonest awareness produces dishonest intuition, mind, intellect, self, and observer. It corrupts everything.
I can see that, but I'm left with no. That was my secret weapon. So how can I know what's real?
Look to the tiniest little bit.
The what? Tiniest?
Nothing big. The tiniest little bit that you directly know the truth of in your heart.
I feel infected.
That's because you've taken your mind to heart. As you go deeper and deeper into your heart, which is the movement of awareness, honest, everything passes away. Everything that you have ever taken into your heart passes away. You've taken your mind to heart, yourself to heart, your conditioning to heart, all of the powers in yourself to heart. As you descend further and further into your heart, everything passes away, and what remains is beingness. It isn't thought. It isn't strong. It isn't like yourself. As you descend into your heart through honesty, what remains is that you are openness. You are softness. And there's nothing else there. As you descend into your heart, all that remains is the texture of your being. And there you are, being it. It isn't that you arrive in it. It's always there. The further you descend in your heart, the more you are being denuded of your beliefs, yourself, your forms, your past, everything. Until there is just you.
And the broom is honesty?
That's what cleans out your heart. Yes.
Is there another way to indicate that I'm cleaning and not adding dirt around my heart?
If you're fooling yourself, life will show you. Anything that comes up in your life in which you are inside a little bit frustrated, annoyed, irritated, not okay, that shows you a belief that has you. It doesn't matter what the belief is. You don't need to think it through. You don't need to see it. The moment you are just a touch frustrated or annoyed, quietly open and soften in your heart.
How can I guard not to inject another belief? Use honesty as my guard? As my filter?
A supreme honesty doesn't stop in your forms. Supreme honesty takes you directly into what is, from the perspective of your forms, nothing. Nothing and nobody. And life will show you if you are being that in yourself. whatever affects yourself comes at yourself, because you are there being whatever it is you're being it in yourself, and yourself is moving. So whatever comes to yourself is going to reach you as what you are being in yourself. If you really are nothing and nobody, you can be in full use of yourself, and whatever comes at yourself reaches nothing, nurturingly nothing and nobody. That means that you are free of yourself, even within the full use of yourself. That's advanced freedom, double freedom. You're not just free of yourself, but you are free of yourself within the full use of yourself.
So emptiness within, when I make use and full empowerment, it still references back to emptiness. Is that correct?
You are a self in use of yourself, or if you really are free, you are what's deeper than yourself, a being that is in the full use of yourself, but a being from the perspective of mind and genetics and the self is nothing. There's nothing there. There's no one there.
This means that it's everything? No identity?
No identity that is able to play as an identity, that is able to perform as an identity without being one. It isn't difficult. Little children, still in their innocence, love doing that. They'll role play. They'll act out what adults are doing. They'll act out with each other in a game who their parents think they are. They'll get right into the drama of it, spell it all out. They can see. And at some point, one of them will start laughing and they all break up. That in the role play, in taking on those identities, it didn't stick to anything because they're free.
Not being attached to any identity and dynamically choose whatever I want just because I want, or even drop this.
Yes.
It's all part of a chosen drama, or drop everything.
Any tiny little bit that makes you feel negatively or positively special. That's pretty much everything.
So if not positive and not negative, then emptiness remains.
It's empty of specialness, polarized specialness.
I can see that in me.
It isn't unattached. It can't even relate to being unattached. Self-orientation can be unattached.
And yet, referring back to what you said before, every time that I feel that any certain irritation or negativity, then it will be a sign that of some belief, and should I use the honesty to clean that belief?
Core honesty, which goes deeper than all of your forms. Core honesty and awareness on its own, relaxed, is the same. If you relax without stopping, that will work. You can start with anything. You can relax your mind, your body, yourself. But if you don't stop, all of that, the use of form to relax will pass. If you don't stop, all that remains is you, awareness, relaxed, being a what? Intrinsic to you instead of a who, which has nothing to do with you.
And that has nothing to do with meditation. But
It does.
it does.
Not much. But it does.
So what is the best way?
When meditation works, it's because you, awareness, are relaxing and being honest. Without that, meditation and no other practice will work. What makes therapy work is honesty. As soon as you realize that, you don't need therapy. Awareness, honest, meaning that it really is being what it really is. Awareness, honest, is the healing of the self it has. It wouldn't matter how distorted your self is, the worst inherited self, with decades of you making that even worse. As soon as you, awareness, are still concerning yourself, as soon as you are honest, your self comes back to balance and heals. It wouldn't matter at all your inheritance or your past. Honesty heals any mind.
And the compass of honesty has to come from the heart, right?
Way deep, where nothing else matters. It's very easy to get to, unless on the way something matters to you. Being an honest self, that will keep you out of your heart. Being an honest person, that will keep you out of your heart.
I thought that I am honest.
When you lie down to go to sleep, you become honest. And you don't even realize that in your mind. The way that you go to sleep is you start relaxing. You do. You might use your mind to lie down, to arrange your pillow. But as soon as you relax, you begin to lose your mind. As you come very near to sleep, everything is gone. Your past, your personality.
Nothing matters.
As you are sleepy, you're already in your heart. As you get closer to sleep, yourself and your heart are also gone. And that is home to you. Because it's you. It's you without anything else. As you come into that, you are free.
And I can reach this state in my mind even without the need to sleep.
Yes. Just like you can be what you come into when meditation seems to be working without meditating. At the tipping point to sleep, you are free. As soon as you are asleep, you're not free again.
And it's sustainable.
You are able to be what you are right at that tipping point to sleep, in the midst of the full use of yourself, in your day that's full of doing. You can be free without your forms. Will you be that free in your forms?
They become irrelevant.
Fundamentally, it's not relevant. But as soon as you are there in yourself, it's relevant.
Is it easy to achieve?
Impossible to achieve. It's like somebody trying to be nobody.
Nothing to achieve.
If somebody relaxes sufficiently, then there is nobody. By the time you are at the tipping point to sleep, yourself, your forms are not in use. You can't use your mind and yourself to fall asleep. That will keep you awake.
Sounds impossible. It's not to be achieved by anything, because nobody can achieve that. Only nobody can experience this emptiness. But when I'm nobody, I'm nobody.
Yes. You are there when nothing is there and no one is there. You are there.
It's still my...
And you are aware.
Still something that is not my body, not my mind, not my heart, exists to experience this emptiness.
And that has a body, a self, a heart, mind, intuition, personality, lots of space, and quite a bit of time.
And still honesty breaks through all of that.
Like nothing else.
It sounds like a riddle that the more that you try to solve it, you're further from the solution.
That's because of what you're using. It's because you are being you plus something. All that's needed for you to be what you really are aware is you. This isn't a conundrum. Really, this is your love.
My love? experienced by nobody.
Experienced in yourself. That's what yourself is for. That's what your beautiful self is for, regardless of how distorted it is. As soon as you are being what you really are in it, despite all of its distortion, some little part of it right there is accurately reflecting you. And you know it.
Loving unconditionally. I thought it's impossible. It's possible when only I exist, without any addition. Is that correct? It will take me some nights to think about it. Pun intended.
May the pain of that be with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Is there anything else that I need to know before I embark the impossible journey?
We're in the Matrix.
I feel empty enough. Thank you.
You feel empty now because you're sincere. That was there all along. Not a great depth of it, but it was there.
Thank you for your awareness.